Bella swallowed hard, heat radiating through her, every nerve on fire. She had fought him for weeks, but now, standing this close, listening to the dark cadence of his words, she felt herself unraveling. Him-chan lowered himself until he was inches from her. His presence filled every corner of the room. She could feel his warmth, smell the faint scent of sandalwood and smoke, and her body betrayed her with a shiver. "I could take you right now," he murmured, lips barely brushing her ear. "You'd never resist me." Bella's fingers dug into the sofa cushions, desperate to ground herself. "You!" He cut her off, leaning back, a faint smirk playing on his lips. "Not yet. I want you to want me. I want you to ache for it." Her pulse raced, anger and desire tangling into a dangerous knot. "You're impossible. I'm inevitable," he replied softly, the certainty in his tone making her stomach twist. And then, as if the universe itself intervened, her phone buzzed. Her father. Bella's heart sank. Him-chan saw her hesitation, caught it like a predator. He didn't touch her, didn't scold her. He only studied her with that calm, unnerving intensity. "Duty calls?" he asked, voice low, teasing. "Yes," she whispered, almost ashamed. "Always." She stood, her body trembling despite herself, and Him-chan allowed her to leave. No chase, no words, just the knowledge that he had her exactly where he wanted her, on the very edge, craving, desperate, and utterly caught in his orbit. As the elevator doors closed behind her, Bella pressed her palm to her chest, feeling the burn of desire and frustration. She hated him, and yet, she wanted him more than she could ever admit. Him-chan watched her go through the reflective glass of the elevator, lips curling faintly. So predictable, so perfect, and deep inside, he knew one thing with absolute certainty. She would fall, and when she did, there would be no escape. The night air outside Seoul was cold and sharp, but inside Him-chan's penthouse, the world had shrunk to just the two of them. Bella's heels clicked softly against the marble floor as she stepped inside, and Him-chan didn't even look up. He was seated on the sofa, sleeves rolled, the low light of the city streaming through the windows casting sharp shadows across his face. The faint scent of sandalwood mixed with the whiskey lingering in the air. Intoxicating, dangerous. "You came," he said simply, voice low, but his eyes burned with a fire she had been chasing and resisting for weeks. Bella closed the door behind her, and for a moment, they simply stared. Words felt meaningless, unnecessary. Every glance, every twitch of a muscle, carried more weight than anything she could say. She began but stopped herself. She had spent weeks trying to play him, seduce him, manipulate him. Now, standing here, she realized none of that mattered anymore. None of it. Him-chan rose, moving toward her with the slow, deliberate grace of a predator who knows the exact moment to strike. Her breath hitched when his hand hovered near hers, fingers brushing lightly, teasing. "You fought so hard," he murmured, voice barely audible over her racing heartbeat. "But you're tired, Bella, and I can feel you trembling for me." Her defenses cracked. She tried to step back, but he closed the distance before she could, his hands resting lightly on her waist, pulling her into the warmth of his body. The heat was immediate, suffocating, yet exhilarating. "You don't have to fight me anymore," he whispered, forehead brushing hers. "Not tonight." Bella's lips parted. Desire, frustration, and longing collided inside her, igniting a fire she could no longer deny. Him-chan silenced her with a soft, almost reverent kiss at the corner of her lips. A gentle claim, not forceful, yet electric. Every nerve in her body flared. Her fingers threaded through his hair, holding him close, and the subtle heat of his hands on her back made her shiver. They broke apart only briefly, eyes locking. Him-chan's gaze was dark, endless, consuming. "Do you know how long I've wanted this?" he murmured. "How long I've wanted you." Bella's chest ached with the confession she hadn't spoken aloud. "I didn't think." "You didn't think?" he whispered, lowering his forehead against hers. I've known since the moment you walked into my club. I've been patient. I've let you fight me. But I can't anymore. Her hands trembled as he trailed kisses along her jaw, her neck, each touch sending sparks straight through her veins. She gasped when his lips finally captured hers fully, urgent and claiming, and all of her rehearsed control collapsed. She clung to him, letting the weeks of tension, denial, and desire wear out with each kiss. His hands roamed, exploring, memorizing, never rough, always claiming, guiding. Every brush of his skin against hers made her ache more deeply than she had ever imagined possible. He lifted her effortlessly onto the sofa, keeping her close, their bodies fitting together like they had been made to collide. Every whispered word, every gasp, every shiver became part of a shared rhythm, a dangerous, intimate dance. I don't want to hurt you, Him-chan murmured against her lips, though his hands spoke a different language entirely, leaving no doubt about his intent. I don't care, Bella whispered back, voice trembling with need. I don't want to hold back anymore. And then all pretense shattered. For hours, they lost themselves in each other. Touch, heat, whispered confessions, soft laughter, raw passion mingling with tenderness. Every moment was electric, meaningful, a culmination of the fire that had been smoldering between them for weeks. Later, after the storm of desire had passed, they lay together, tangled, breathless, and impossibly close. Him-chan's hand rested on her hip, thumb tracing idle circles, while Bella pressed her face into his chest. You're mine, he whispered, soft but unyielding. Not just tonight. All of you, even when you think you're fighting me. Bella shivered against him, heart full, mind racing. She had come here to seduce him, to gather information, to manipulate. But in the quiet aftermath, she knew the truth. She didn't want to leave. She didn't want to hide. She wanted him completely, irrevocably. And for the first time, Him-chan let her see a glimpse of the man beneath the ruthless kingpin. A man who loved her enough to claim her fully, mind, body, and heart. Outside, soul pulsed and burned. Inside, Bella and Him-chan existed in a world that was theirs alone. Dangerous, passionate, unstoppable, and nothing would ever be the same again. The private jet landed quietly at Incheon International Airport, the hum of the engines fading as Bella's father, Marcus Montgomery, and her younger brother, Darius, stepped onto Korean soil. Bella had insisted she meet Him-chan first, and now, standing at the sleek private hangar, the gravity of the meeting hit her. Her father's eyes were sharp, scanning the airport and then her, assessing, suspicious, ready for confrontation. Bella, he said curtly, voice carrying authority. You've been gone a long time. I know, Dad, Bella replied evenly, masking her nerves. But you have to see him for yourself. Let's just see him, Marcus interrupted, nodding to the car waiting. Darius shot her a look, half smile, half worry. The ride to Him-chan's penthouse was silent. Bella's stomach churned with tension, not fear for herself, but for what this encounter could mean. Her father didn't trust easily, and neither did her brothers. Him-chan had to prove not just his wealth or power, but his honor. The penthouse doors opened, and Him-chan was waiting. No guards visible, just him, sharp suit, calm, poised. He inclined his head slightly as Bella's father stepped in. Marcus Montgomery, Him-chan greeted, voice smooth, yet carrying an unspoken edge. I've been expecting you. Marcus's jaw tightened, but he didn't move. I've been told you're influential, he said, carefully measuring each word. I want to know if my daughter is safe. Him-chan stepped closer, unflinching, and offered his hand. Marcus hesitated, then shook it, reading Him-chan's intent. Bella is under my protection, Him-chan said, firm but respectful. Nothing will harm her. You have my word. Bella's father studied him, evaluating every movement, every tone. Slowly, the tension in the room eased, but just slightly. Darius, ever the curious brother, couldn't resist testing the man. And what exactly do you want from her? Him-chan's eyes locked on Bella, a mixture of desire, devotion, and protectiveness. "I want her to be happy," he said quietly, deliberately. "I want her to choose me willingly. I want to prove to you that she is in good hands, that I am worthy of her." Bella's chest tightened. Him-chan wasn't just saying words. He meant them, and every subtle gesture, every carefully controlled movement, proved it. Marcus finally nodded once. "You've got guts, I'll give you that. But actions speak louder than words. Show me Him-chan. Protect her, respect her, and maybe I'll consider my blessing." Him-chan's smirk softened into a rare, warm smile. "You have it already. In my eyes, Bella is always safe. And my life is hers if she allows it." Bella's throat tightened as she watched the man who had been her enemy, her seducer, her tormentor, and now her lover, stand unwavering before her family. For the first time, she realized the depth of his commitment. Later, in the private lounge overlooking the city lights, the formalities faded. Him-chan and Marcus discussed logistics, alliances, and respect, but the underlying message was clear. Him-chan was no ordinary man. He would not only keep Bella safe, he would fight for her, fiercely and without compromise. Bella watched, awe and love blending in her chest. Her father's approval wasn't complete, but the seed of trust had been planted. And Him-chan, ever calculated, had proven he could command not just fear and respect, but love. When the meeting ended, Marcus nodded once more. "I'll expect reports. And Bella, take care of yourself." Him-chan escorted her to the balcony, wrapping an arm around her waist. "You're mine," he whispered, not possessively, but irrevocably. Bella leaned into him, heart full, body still humming from desire, trust, and newfound understanding. "I know," she breathed. "I'm yours." The city sprawled below them, lights twinkling like stars. For Bella and Him-chan, nothing else existed in that moment but each other, and the promise of a future neither could deny. The evening air in Seoul was crisp, carrying the faint scent of the Han River below. Bella's heart raced as Him-chan led her onto the rooftop of his private penthouse, a place she now knew was sacred to him. The city sprawled below, lights glittering like diamonds scattered across black velvet. Tonight, something in Him-chan's eyes told her that the game had changed. He took her hand, fingers warm, steady, unshakable. "Bella," he said softly, pulling her closer. "There's something I've been waiting to give you. Something I should have given you the moment I claimed you in every way possible." Her pulse hammered, and she felt the familiar coil of desire twist in her stomach. But this was different. This wasn't just heat. This was vulnerability, honesty. Him-chan, the ruthless kingpin, exposing the man beneath. He reached into his pocket and produced a small black box. Bella's breath caught before it even opened. "I've wanted to wait," Him-chan continued, voice low, controlled, "to make sure that when I asked you this, it was forever. Because I don't just want your body. I don't just want your mind. I want your heart. And I want it freely, completely, without any games left between us." Bella's eyes glistened with emotion. Her hands trembled as the box opened, revealing a ring that sparkled like a captured star. "Bella Montgomery," Him-chan said, sinking to one knee despite his usual composure. "Will you marry me? Will you let me protect you, love you, and hold you for the rest of our lives?" Tears pricked Bella's eyes, and for a moment she couldn't speak. The man who had once been her enemy, her tormentor, her impossible desire, now knelt before her, heart in hand, offering a future she had only dared imagine in secret. "Yes," she whispered finally, voice breaking with emotion. "Yes, Him-chan, I'll marry you." He slipped the ring onto her finger with a precision that mirrored his meticulous nature, but his hands lingered, caressing her skin, memorizing her again as if she had been his all along. He pulled her into his arms, forehead pressed to hers. "You have no idea how much I've wanted this," he murmured. "I think I do," Bella replied softly, laughter and tears mingling. "I think I've wanted it too." The celebration wasn't loud. No city lights, no fireworks, just them. But when Bella's father and brothers arrived, The rooftop became a place of union and reluctant acceptance. Marcus studied Him-chan carefully, then nodded once, approvingly. "You've got her heart," Marcus said quietly. "Make sure you keep it." Him-chan's hand squeezed Bella's. "I will," he replied, eyes locked on hers. "I promise you, nothing will ever harm her as long as I live." Bella's brother, Darius, smirked and slapped Him-chan's shoulder. "Took you long enough." Him-chan smiled faintly, the intensity in his gaze never wavering. Patience is a virtue, and she was worth every second. Later, as they stood alone again, soul glowing beneath them, Bella leaned against Him-chan, letting herself feel the safety, desire, and love all at once. "You make me feel," she began, but words failed her. "I know," he said softly, lips brushing the top of her head. "And I'll spend the rest of my life showing you exactly how much you mean to me." For the first time in weeks, Bella felt complete surrender, not weakness but a choice freely made. The dangerous, fierce woman her father had raised was now also a woman wholly in love, held by a man as relentless and devoted as she was. The city lights sparkled below them, but Bella and Him-chan existed in a world all their own. Passionate, intense, unbreakable, and infinitely theirs. And as he held her close, whispering promises only she could hear, Bella knew one thing for certain. Nothing would ever come between them again. The morning air in Texas was warm, golden sunlight spilling across the Montgomery family estate. Birds sang lazily, and the gentle breeze carried the faint scent of blooming magnolias. Bella stood at the edge of the veranda, her wedding dress flowing like liquid silk, heart hammering with a mixture of nerves, excitement, and awe. Him-chan appeared beside her, perfectly composed, his dark suit tailored to perfection. But his usual commanding presence softened as he looked at her, eyes lingering on every detail, the curve of her neck, the slight tremor in her hands, the radiant smile that made his chest ache. "You look breathtaking," he murmured, his hand brushing hers, fingers entwining instinctively. Bella laughed softly, a mixture of nerves and happiness. "And you look terrifyingly handsome," he smirked, leaning down to press a quick, possessive kiss to her temple. "Terrifying enough to keep anyone from touching you who shouldn't." Her father, Marcus, approached, arms crossed but eyes glinting with reluctant pride. "I never thought I'd see the day," he said gruffly, voice carrying the weight of years of control and protection. "But you've done well, Bella. And Him-chan, you've earned this. Don't screw it up." Him-chan bowed slightly, a gesture of respect rare for a man like him. "I promise, sir. I will spend every day proving she's safe, cherished, and loved." Marcus studied him a long moment before nodding, the tension finally easing. "Then let's get this started." The ceremony took place under a sweeping canopy of white roses and magnolias. Friends and family gathered in reverent anticipation. Bella walked down the aisle, every step carrying the weight of her past. The mafia pressures, the secrets, the games, but also the freedom she had fought for, the love she had chosen. Him-chan waited at the altar, sharp and imposing. Yet there was a softness in his eyes reserved only for her. As she approached, he reached out, and she slipped her hand into his, feeling the familiar power, the unwavering devotion, and the burning desire that had defined their journey. The officiant spoke words of love, loyalty, and trust, but all Bella could hear was Him-chan's voice in her mind, steady and sure. "I am yours, all of me." When it came time to exchange vows, Him-chan spoke first, voice low, deliberate, and filled with unshakable intensity. "Bella Montgomery, from the moment I saw you, I knew you would be mine. I've tried to resist, to let you fight, to make you chase me. But now, I vow to be your protector, your lover, your partner in every storm and calm. I will love you fiercely, endlessly, and without reservation. I am yours mind, body, and soul. Always." Tears filled Bella's eyes. When it was her turn, her voice wavered but grew stronger with every word. "Him-chan, you came into my life like fire, dangerous, impossible, irresistible. You broke all my defenses, claimed my heart, and taught me what it means to love without fear. I vow to stand by you, fight with you, laugh with you, and love you completely. You are my choice. Always. The officiant smiled, a quiet acknowledgement of the passion radiating from them. By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Himchan lifted her face gently, lips capturing hers with a mix of tenderness, passion, and ownership that left everyone breathless. Bella melted against him, returning every ounce of his fire and desire, knowing this moment was theirs alone. Unbreakable, unyielding, and perfect. Later, during the reception, Marcus raised a glass. To Bella and Himchan, may you survive each other's stubbornness and love each other fiercely, just as you've proven you already do. Darius laughed, shaking his head. Finally, someone who can handle her. Bella leaned into Himchan's chest, his arms wrapped possessively around her waist. We've made it, she whispered. Himchan pressed a soft kiss to her temple. We did. And nothing, no enemy, no past, no storm, will ever take this from us. The night was filled with laughter, music, and dancing under the stars. Bella and Himchan moved together like fire and silk, a perfect balance of desire, trust, and love that had been tested and forged in the heat of their shared storms. As the last of the guests departed and the estate quieted, Bella rested against Himchan, feeling the solid strength of his chest, the steady beat of his heart. I love you, she murmured. I know, he replied, voice low, intimate, and full of certainty. And I'll spend the rest of my life showing you exactly how much. The stars above seemed to shine just for them, witnesses to a love that had survived deceit, danger, and desire, and had emerged stronger, unbreakable, and eternally theirs. The morning sun spilled gold across the penthouse, catching on Bella's hair as she sat on the edge of the bed, still in the soft folds of her silk robe. She had been feeling different. Subtle waves of nausea, the strange fatigue, the heightened sensitivity to Himchan's presence. All signs she hadn't expected to hit so soon. She clutched a small pregnancy test in trembling hands. The faint line at first made her squint, doubt flickering through her mind. But when the second line appeared, strong and undeniable, tears sprang to her eyes. Himchan appeared behind her quietly, a presence so familiar it was almost instinctual. He noticed the paper in her hand, the wide-eyed disbelief, and the tears threatening to spill. Yuri smiling? He asked softly, though his eyes were sharp with curiosity. Bella turned, voice barely a whisper. We're going to have a baby. For a heartbeat, Himchan said nothing. His expression softened, the icy precision of his gaze giving way to something warmer, vulnerable. Then he reached for her hand, clasping it with his powerful fingers, grounding her trembling. A life from us? He murmured, almost as if tasting the words. Yes, she breathed. Our life, our family. Himchan pulled her into his arms, her head resting against his chest. His heartbeat was steady, grounding, a tether in a storm of emotions. I've wanted this, he said, his lips brushing the top of her head. I've wanted you, every part of you. And now this little life, we made it together. She closed her eyes, letting herself feel it fully, the awe, the fear, and the joy. Weeks of danger, seduction, and passion had led to this life itself, growing within her. A week later, Himchan arrived at the penthouse carrying a small, elegantly wrapped box. Bella raised an eyebrow. What's this? She asked skeptically. Himchan smiled, kneeling before her, holding the box as though it contained the weight of the world. Open it, he said softly. Inside was a delicate gold bracelet, engraved with a heartbeat pattern. Bella's hand shook as she lifted it, eyes widening. I wanted you to have something tangible, Himchan explained, his voice low and intimate, so that when you touch it, you remember the life growing inside you, and that it's ours, completely. Tears filled her eyes. Himchan, this is beautiful. How did you even? It's for you, he murmured, slipping the bracelet onto her wrist. "It's us, and Sue." He drew her close, resting his forehead against hers. "Every day, I'll make sure you feel loved, cherished, and safe. I'll never let you feel anything else." Bella's heart swelled, a mixture of love, awe, and longing. They held each other in the quiet of the penthouse, the city lights below a muted witness to the intimacy and devotion that had grown between them. Pregnancy brought new rhythms, new routines, and new depths to their relationship. Him-chan, ever precise and attentive, became Bella's unwavering anchor. He woke early to prepare breakfast, making her favorite herbal teas to ease the morning sickness. He rubbed her shoulders after long days, massaged her feet when swelling made walking uncomfortable, and whispered reassurances when worry crept in. One evening, as Bella rested against him on the sofa, she murmured, "I don't know how I got so lucky." "You got me?" Him-chan replied, smirking, his hands tracing idle patterns on her growing belly. "And that's how you got lucky." "No," she countered softly, laughing but touched with emotion. "I mean this, you taking care of me, us, our child." Him-chan's gaze darkened, intense but tender. "I will protect you, always, and I'll make sure our child grows up surrounded by love, safety, and strength. You'll never want for anything." They spent evenings planning the nursery, picking colors, arranging toys, and discussing names. Him-chan would read books aloud, tracing her hands over her belly as if communicating with the child already. Every touch, word, and laugh wove them closer together, forming a family before the baby even arrived. The days were long, filled with both challenges and joy, but Him-chan's devotion never wavered. Bella felt herself falling deeper, not just for his intensity or desire, but for the man he became with her, tender and wholly present. The labor began unexpectedly, a rush of urgency that left Bella gripping Him-chan's hand as he guided her into the waiting car, calm and commanding. The hospital was quiet but prepared, staff ready for the arrival. Him-chan didn't leave her side, whispering encouragement, tracing her hair back from her face, murmuring love and devotion. Hours passed in a blur of contractions, sweat, and tears. Through it all, Him-chan remained a steady presence, his touch, words, and silent strength carrying her through the pain. Finally, a cry pierced the room, a tiny, perfect, living miracle. Him-chan's eyes shimmered with unshed tears as he held their daughter for the first time. "She's perfect," he whispered. "She's ours," Bella breathed, exhausted but radiant, pressing her forehead against his shoulder. Family arrived soon after, and the estate was filled with joy, laughter, and celebration. Marcus and Darius watched, proud, witnessing the man who had once been Bella's enemy, then lover, now devoted husband, proving he could care, protect, and love beyond measure. At night, Him-chan cradled both Bella and their daughter, whispering promises into the quiet of the room. Bella rested against him, heart full, body tired, soul content. The fire, danger, and desire that had defined their journey now transformed into enduring love and family devotion. Sunlight spilled through the tall windows of the Seoul penthouse, warm and golden, illuminating the laughter and life within. Bella moved gracefully through the living room, holding her daughter, Ava, whose giggles filled the air like music. Her dress was soft and flowing, perfectly comfortable for chasing after a lively 3-year-old. Him-chan sat nearby, sharp suit discarded for casual comfort, feet propped on the coffee table, eyes following every movement of his family. Yet the intensity in his gaze never wavered. It was love, protection, and possession all rolled into one. "Mommy!" Ava squealed, running toward Bella with tiny arms wide open. Bella caught her effortlessly, spinning her in a warm embrace, laughter echoing through the room. "You're getting faster," Bella teased, holding her daughter close. "And stronger," Him-chan added, rising and walking over, wrapping an arm around both of them. "She takes after her mother in every way." Bella looked up at him, smiling. "And she has your stubbornness." Him-chan smirked, pulling Bella closer, pressing a kiss to her temple. Perfect combination, just like her parents. Later that afternoon, the family gathered in the garden, the soft hum of city life below contrasting the tranquility above. Marcus and Darius had flown in for a short visit, eyes gleaming as they watched Bella and Himchan interact with Ava. "You've done well," Marcus said quietly, nodding toward Himchan. "She's happy. That's all a father really wants." Himchan's gaze softened but remained intense. "I'll protect them. Every day, every hour, every second. That's my vow." Marcus's lips curved faintly. "Good. Just don't forget. She's fierce. That's one thing even you can't control." Himchan chuckled low and dark. "I wouldn't want to. I married her strength, not just her beauty." As evening fell, Bella and Himchan watched the city glow from their balcony, Ava asleep in Bella's arms. The quiet was comforting, a stark contrast to the chaos and danger that had defined so much of their past. Yet the fire between them had not dimmed. It had evolved passionate, tender, and endlessly deep. "You know," Bella murmured, resting her head against his chest, "I never imagined life like this. Peaceful, full of love, safe." Himchan's hands cradled hers and the child, steady and warm. "We earned it," he said softly. "Through every storm, every battle, every risk we built this. Our family, our life, and I'd go through it all again for this." Bella smiled, feeling the weight of their journey. Mafia rivalries, seduction, desire, psychological games, all transformed into something eternal and unbreakable. "I love you," she whispered. "I know," Himchan replied, voice low and certain. "And I'll keep loving you every day, until the end of time." The city lights shimmered below, but up here, in the warmth of their family and love, Bella, Himchan, and Ava existed in a world of their own making, passionate, tender, and unshakably theirs. And as the night deepened, the three of them sat together on the balcony, hearts intertwined, the past behind them, the future a promise of infinite love. Thank you for watching. If you're new here, we'd love to know you better, so leave us a comment and tell us where you're watching from. Who knows? Our next story might come from your home country. If you enjoyed this video, take a moment to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss our next release.